Today's the NHL expansion draft here in Seattle, but more importantly, it is July 21st, 2021, and this is your daily download for Topps Project 70. Because when I saw that card come out by JK5, Lee Mazzilli, I said, who is that? I have to Google this person, and so I did just that. I did Google Lee Mazzilli. I know a little bit more, and I do also appreciate all of the comments on last night's video about your memories about Lee Mazzilli. The good thing though is on today's release calendar, I know all of the players, and I also did get some word that there is potential that we will see the 5th Blue the Great card release next week in Topps Project 70. But my name is Chris, otherwise known on Twitter, and Instagram is at CRT_sportscards. And the website you want to go to for everything related to Project 70 is simply crtsportscards.com. And I really hope you're enjoying that new artist rarity ranking list. I am falling more in love with that list every single day. I love seeing when the cards get released where the artists move up or down on that list. But this is now where the rubber meets the road. This is, of course, Wednesday night in Project 70, which means this is decision night. You have to make your decision by tonight or early tomorrow morning if you really like to roll the dice on if you're buying the Monday cards. Of course, we still do have an extra day on the Tuesday cards, but if we want to see artists continue to release subjects that we have not seen before or players that may have had just a couple of releases, we have to have them turn out a very strong print run. If artists see all of these cards this week come out at 650, 670, 700, they're going to be a little gun shy to maybe release another subject that maybe no one has seen or maybe heard of in the case of Lee Mazzilli. And I say that because I personally, as a fan and as a collector of Project 70, I am absolutely loving the direction of the set this week. I don't know why Topps has decided to load up so many new players this week right after the All-Star game. Maybe there's some hope that they can draw in some new audience after those All-Star cards. But for me to say right now, through 12 cards this week, that 8 of them are new, and we've seen a total of 9 new players. Thank you to FDOT for releasing 2 new players today on his card. This is just a wonderful direction, and I really hope all of the fans of Project 70 sort of respond to this and show the artists the support as a way of saying thank you for going out here on a branch and releasing some new players. But what artists released a card today, and what new players did we see? First up is Mr. Asterisk Roger Maris. 1 month after I said this card needs to exist, Toy Tokyo releases a Roger Maris. We also have Infinite Archives releasing the very first Sammy Sosa. We have Risk releasing the 6th Clayton Kershaw in the set. And then we have FDOT releasing a dual player card. On the left, we have Chris Bryant, and on the right, we have Ian Happ. So let's go ahead and cover that Ian Happ and Chris Bryant card first. This is only the 2nd card all year from 2016 Topps. It is, though, very appropriate because that is the year the Cubs won the World Series. This is also only the 6th and 7th card when you factor in that Sammy Sosa of the Chicago Cubs. But when you take a look at this card at first glance, you're going to say Chris Bryant and Ian Happ 2016. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Why did FDOT include Ian Happ? If you want to have a dual card from 2016 to talk about the Cubs, you're going to have Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant. But remember, at the core of Project 70 is this is an artist set. And so there is a genuine personal connection here between FDOT and Ian Happ, and that is why Ian Happ is on the card. If you remember back to last month, FDOT had that fantastic mental health awareness campaign with the Chicago Cubs, and if you remember back to that release video, who was on that video with FDOT? It was no one other than Ian Happ. It's a connection they share. It's a cause they share. And now we will come back to the other Chicago Cub card here in a second, but I also cannot believe 1 week from tonight I will be in Chicago having dinner at the National. But joining FDOT on the release calendar for today is, of course, Risk with that Clayton Kershaw. This is from 2021 Topps, so a brand new year, but this is the Dodgers' 48th card in the set, nowhere near the Yankees. But the big question for me on this card, and I look back at Risk's entire gallery on my website before I recorded tonight, I'm trying to figure out the butterflies. There are no butterflies on this card. They've been on, I believe, about half of his cards. So if someone has figured out the meaning or the reasoning why there's butterflies on some cards and not others, I would love to know. So leave a comment below talking about those risk butterflies. But now let's shift our focus to some home run hitters of the game, some of the best the game has ever seen. And for many, many years, this man was wronged by the game of baseball. Roger Maris died at the age of 51 in 1985, and he died knowing he had an asterisk on that 61. And I'll tell you, one of my favorite baseball movies is Billy Crystal's 61 asterisk. So if you've not watched that, I highly recommend you check it out. And it wasn't until 1991 where Major League Baseball finally removed that asterisk from his record. We knew for many, many years, even before baseball removed that asterisk, that Roger Maris was the home run champion at 61 home runs. Of course, 7 years later, that record was broken, but I cannot imagine doing something no one else has ever done in a sport and forever having an asterisk next to that record, because I had the unfortunate circumstance of having to play 8 more games than my predecessor. So this card, in my opinion, captures Roger Maris, the history of the asterisk so very well, and I will be buying a copy of this card because I think it goes very well into my collection. But can you now imagine hitting 66 home runs in a season and also not being named the home run champion of the year? That is exactly what happened to Sammy Sosa in 1998, because Mark McGwire in that same year hit 70 home runs. But for me, as a 16-year-old just baseball fanatic back then, that summer was just magical. I can still, in my mind, see Mark McGwire's 62nd home run go over left field fence, and then he hugged the Maris family. But this isn't about Mark McGwire. This is about Sammy Sosa. But for me, as a fan of the sport back then, for whatever reason, I still don't know why this is, but I gravitated more to Sammy Sosa that year than I did Mark McGwire. Maybe it's because I like to be the hunter versus the hunted in competitions, and that is why this is my card of the day on Wednesday in this set. This will also complete your daily download for Topps Project 70 on Wednesday, July 21st, 2021.